Senator Mark Wayne Mullen says Oklahomans have been overwhelmingly positive about his near physical confrontation with the Teamsters boss. Our Washington Bureau Chief Alex Cameron spoke one-on-one with Mullen today about the Senate showdown that quickly went viral.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
This surreal scene in Bernie Sanders' Health, Education, and Labor Committee Tuesday went from lead story to late night.
Sit down. Okay. You're a United States Senator.
You sit down. You sit down.
Senator Mullen and I did sit down today, and he made the point that normally he's very easy to get along with.
I'll laugh and joke with anybody. I can get along with Republicans, Democrats. You see this.
But the bad blood with Teamsters President Sean O'Brien dates back to March and to another hearing before the same committee.
Because you don't know
You're going to tell me to shut my mouth?
Yes, I did.
Hold it. Yeah. Hold it.
Tough guy. I'm not
Stand it
afraid
up.
of physical.
Stand it up.
A few months later, O'Brien followed up with a post saying, "Quit the tough guy act. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy."
You can call me 1,000 names, but don't say, anytime, any place, you know where to find me, cowboy. That's a total different perspective. At that point, I'm going, okay, obviously you didn't read my bio.
Mullen was, at one time, a mixed martial arts fighter, and he says he was prepared Tuesday to put that experience on display.
Without question. I had already picked where I wanted him to land.
Mullen's behavior has brought disbelief and disgust from some who see it as an embarrassment, both to the Senate and to Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'd probably say those aren't the ones that voted for me to begin with, because those that voted for me knew exactly who I was.
And Mullen says that's a person who believes those who are able to stand up to bullies, as he says he is, should.
Because otherwise the bully's just going to run rampant, and that's what he's been doing for years, and he hasn't been ever called out on it. And I bet he learned his lesson a little bit.
Now, the Teamsters Union headquarters is right here behind me. I did reach out to see if O'Brien wanted to share his view on this or respond to any of Senator Mullen's comments. Through a spokesman, he said he was not interested. In our Washington Bureau, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron.
All right.
Well, the day started like most others this week. 200-some Republicans meeting behind closed doors to see if they could unify behind one member. No longer McCarthy, no longer Scalise, now perhaps Ohio conservative Jim Jordan.
That's what the consensus was last night. We'll see what happens. And it's going to be difficult to get 217, so we'll see how that works out today.
Oklahoma's Kevin Hern wasn't making any predictions, which turns out to have been wise. Certainly Jordan, the fiery House Judiciary Chair, has some strong support.
I'm back in Jim Jordan. We'll see what happens after that.
By Friday afternoon, lingering bitterness over the way the far-right faction of the conference, led by Matt Gaetz, ousted McCarthy, would keep Jordan from getting enough support.
I'm a no on allowing Matt Gaetz in the other 7 to win by putting their individual in as speaker.
The intense focus by hundreds of media on this GOP infighting, as well as a George Santos sideshow Friday afternoon,
and the next time he tries to accost me with a child in my hand,
has created an almost circus-like atmosphere, which Democrats say is conference leadership's own fault.
One reason we're here is because almost invariably they move to their extreme wing to try to solve their problems. That's not where problem solving is going to happen. It's going to happen when we move forward together.
There is some speculation that at this point, Republicans will only be able to elect a speaker with Democrats' help. But that's still a long shot.
Bottom line, you think you're getting closer to a speaker?
I think so. I mean, yeah, I do.
While some Republicans have no real problem with the way this process is going, saying democracy is sometimes messy, the majority are frustrated, some even embarrassed, and are worried that this dysfunction could hurt them in the next election. In our Washington Bureau, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron. Are you fired up?
Yes, it's going to be a great night.
This is the 3rd year Congresswoman Bice has played in a game that pits a bipartisan, bicameral members team against a team of D.C. journalists.
I thought this would be a great way to meet people, as well as, get a little exercise in the morning. We've been practicing since March.
At their final practice Wednesday morning, co-captain Bice acknowledged the main reason she plays. The reason the game was started is to raise money to fight breast cancer through the nonprofit Young Survival Coalition.
I have been impacted by breast cancer, not myself, but through a couple of very close friends. And so this is a way for me to highlight and support them.
And also get the staff out and have some fun. Team Bice!
It's a stressful time right now in Washington. There's a lot going on. Gives us a little bit of an outlet.
And not just the rank and file. The game brought out the Senate Majority Leader,
Good luck.
the Speaker Emeritus, and her replacement. Mr. Speaker, what's your prediction?
I think the members of Congress win again.
Will the women of Congress won last year's game in dramatic walk-off fashion, 6-5. The press team, they call themselves the Bad News Babes, were determined to avenge that loss and came out firing. An offensive onslaught had the media team scoring early and often.
2 across, play the plate, 3 runs, score.
A small anti-fossil fuel protest briefly stopped play, but didn't stop the players from exercising their own right to free speech. Down 12-0, Team Congress tried mounting a comeback.
I've gotten some base hits in the past, so we'll see.
Buoyed by her name-fitting walk-up song, Bice Bice Baby went 2 for 3 and scored a pair of runs.
It's always a good day when you can beat the press, Alex.
Alas, that day will have to wait. The winners Wednesday night were young women battling surviving breast cancer. In our Washington Bureau, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron. Well, this is the first March for Life since last June's monumental 6-3 ruling, and comes almost exactly 50 years to the day since the equally monumental 1973 ruling that got this march going in the first place. Thousands of activists joined forces once again in the nation's capital, proclaiming victory. Life wins.
We believe that every life should be protected from the womb to the tomb.
And promising continued vigilance.
We're fighting to make abortion unthinkable.
A sentiment echoed by the event's organizers.
We will march until abortion is unthinkable.
In the wake of the court's decision to reverse Roe, the battleground on abortion has shifted to federal and state lawmakers, some trying to protect access to safe, legal abortion, others wanting to do away with it completely.
The next phase now begins, and that's what this year's march is all about.
There were small groups of counter-protesters, and President Biden issued a proclamation saying, "My administration is resolute in its commitment to defending reproductive rights and continuing our nation's progress toward equality for all." But this was a day for those who believe that the rights of the unborn from conception matter just as much. Now, Oklahoma's March for Life is tomorrow morning in Oklahoma City. Marchers will go from the National Memorial to the Capitol. In our Washington Bureau, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron. 5 districts, 5 winners. Cadence Kinney used colored pencil to create Oklahoma Proud. Elizabeth Shuknecht used acrylic paint to make Land of the Free-Spirited. Leah Crossan's Cathedral is mixed media. Catherine Prater used acrylics to paint the woods, and Cadence McCullough used watercolor and pen to make the manor.
It is a place in Italy.
Stillwater High School's Cadence McCullough thanks her art teacher for encouraging her to enter the congressional art competition and for helping her decide which piece to submit.
I didn't have too much confidence in it, and she was like, "You have to put this one in the DC contest." And I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Congressman Frank Lucas announced McCullough as his district's winner this spring, and now for the next year, her artwork will hang in one of Washington's most unique venues. The Cannon Tunnel that I'm walking in right now, which connects the Cannon House Office building and the Capitol, is pretty quiet today with members on break, but during session, it is bustling with pedestrian traffic, and there's pretty much only one thing to look at.
I was a little shocked. I still am a little shocked.
McCullough says she couldn't believe she won, a feeling that was reinforced, she says, when she visited the tunnel herself.
And like seeing everybody's art was so amazing, and then I finally got to mine, and honestly, I was like, wow, what is mine doing up here?
Talented and humble, McCullough doesn't see herself pursuing a career in art. She says she wants to be an engineer, but she loves to create and says she'll be forever grateful for this honor.
Honestly, whenever I went down there and saw how many people were like taking pictures of not only their art and other people's art and actually admiring it is what I loved so much to see.
In our Washington Bureau, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron.
So we're here to take a moment on one of the biggest stages in the world, the White House, to say that teachers change lives.
That message today for all the state teachers of the year in the audience and for one receiving even higher honors.
National Teacher of the Year, Rebecca Peterson.
The Union High School math teacher is being applauded for dedicating herself through her teaching and her One Good Thing blog for inspiring her students to be forces for good in the community.
I want to bring the good news of joy and hope to my students and to reciprocate that gift of education that my teachers gave me.
The immigrant child of Swedish and Iranian parents, Peterson's the first Oklahoma teacher to win the national award since 1964 and the third overall.
As educators, we are fueled by the equalizing power of public education to dismantle marginalization, eliminate systemic inequities, and end generational poverty.
President Biden praised Peterson's work and said America's teachers hold the kite strings that lift our national ambitions aloft, one student at a time.
Every single one of us here is at least in part here because of somewhere along the way we had a teacher who believed in us.
Peterson congratulated her fellow honorees and urged them to continue being role models for their students with open hearts and hands.
Because i slutande kanske vi alla bara går hem till varandra. In the end, maybe we're all of us, just walking each other home. Thank you.
At the White House, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron. Seated next to UK Minister of International Trade Nigel Huddleston, Governor Stitt put pen to paper Tuesday afternoon.
You'll be pleased to know we signed in the right place.
The culmination of several years of determined work between close allies.
And we're just glad to get this across the finish line, and thank you for your hospitality.
Arguably America's closest ally, the Brits already have significant interest in Oklahoma and vice versa. More than 60 British companies have operations in Oklahoma, employing nearly 10,000 people. And last year, Oklahoma exported nearly $350 million in goods and services to the UK.
Today, with the signing of the MOU, we set ourselves on an even more ambitious path to being each other's close trading partners.
Oklahoma is the fourth state the UK has inked an MOU with, but Stitt says this is a first for the Sooner State and a big deal.
So there's a lot of things that can come out of this, and just kind of starting this relationship is very, very important.
Technically, the MOU establishes a bilateral trade and economic cooperation board, which will push investment in 3 priority sectors: energy transition, zero-emission vehicles, and agriculture.
Cooperation and discussion, business to business, saying, look, what can we learn from each other? Trade delegations visiting each other's countries and looking at what opportunities may be there to invest and also trade.
Governor Stitt says word is getting out. Oklahoma is a great place to do business.
So I promised Oklahomans that I was going to take Oklahoma to the world and bring the world back to Oklahoma. It's exactly what we're doing.
And Governor Stitt says this memorandum of understanding with the UK may just be the first of many such agreements. He says he just met with the German ambassador and has a similar meeting scheduled with Japanese representatives. At the British Embassy in Washington, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron.